Greetings and welcome to Bubble Hearthing, your righteous retreat to some casual Hearthstone. And guess what? Hearthstone is now free to everyone in the North America and stuff. So ta-da! Okay, there's some changes there now, and I think I'm gonna go over them. They had to implement one final game-breaking patch because they wanted to fix some things before it actually went out. I don't know if it's actually on like Android and iOS yet. I don't think so, but I'll check later. Doesn't really matter if it is to me. All right, so. Let's just jump right into the big issue right now, which is the two cards that got changed. And effectively, they got nerfed. One pretty hard, one not really hard. And the opinions are kind of split on those. I did a lot of reading the forums and stuff and seeing how people felt, and they didn't really like anything. Most of them were very, very negative. All right, so let's start off with Pagle. Okay. So Pagle is the stats are exactly the same as they were. It's a 2 for a 0/4, and now the card reads at the start of your turn you have a 50% chance to draw an extra card. The original text of it was at the end of your turn, which means that you'd play it, and then at the end of that turn that you played it, you got a chance to draw a card. Okay. Let's see. As far as playability for the card you could possibly draw, it stays the same. Because it's either going to be at the end of the turn, you play it your next turn, or at the beginning of your turn, and you play it then. So that's fine. The main thing they're trying to do here is give your opponent an extra window to eliminate this card. If it's later in the game, then that's probably not a big deal, honestly. Either they can deal with it, or they can't. And it's going to be one card. Sure, of course. One card can mean the difference between winning and losing. Yes, it can be the one removal card that you needed that was just one card further down in your deck. So it is a nerf, that's definite, but it's not really that severe. As far as timing-wise goes, like I said, it's the same timing. That extra card that you could possibly get, you're still going to have the same window to play it. So it's not like, oh, if I had gotten this at the end of my turn, then it would have been great, but I got it at the beginning of my turn, or no, it's not that at all. It just gives your opponent an extra chance to try to remove it, which I think is fair. I mean, already Pagle is he's being played in a lot of tournaments. Some people are actually considering banning Pagle and Tinkmaster, which we'll get to in a second, in little like mini tournaments they were having because they're so common everywhere, and they can produce really unfair situations. The randomness of them actually contributes a lot to them being possibly overpowered in certain situations. But as far as Pagle goes, I think this is fine. There's not really much to worry about. It just gives your opponent an extra turn to actually think about something. And if you're playing this on your turn 1, if you're coining it out, or even if you're playing it on turn 2, odds are it's going to survive that extra turn that you give them. So it's not really going to matter at that point. Just saying, 4 health is kind of hard to get rid of right away. Okay. Now then, the big guy that actually I do have an issue with them changing. Not that I have it at all, but let's go over to the Tinkmaster. Okay, so this guy, they buffed his stats. Okay, they gave him an extra attack point and an extra health point, which is pretty much irrelevant because you never used them for the stats, you used them for the effect, for the battle cry, which used to be a battle cry, transform target minion, whatever, a minion, randomly, into a 1/1 squirrel or a 5/5 Devilsaur. So to get the most, not necessarily the most use, but to be guaranteed value, you would always have to use that on, say, a Sylvanas. Worst case, it just turns into a Silence. That's fine. What else would you use it on? Ragnaros, of course. You could possibly use it on a Cairn Bloodhoof, just because it might give it an extra attack point, but then it doesn't revive, in a sense. Any big creatures, anything with more than 5 attack and 5 health, is a very valuable target to use it on, because you're guaranteed that it's going to be better, no matter which one you get. And if you get a squirrel out of it, then it's just super value. It's amazing. Okay. So now, what Blizzard wanted to do, because they had so many complaints about the randomness of this, oh, you never know if this is going to turn to that or that, and I lost a game because of this, and I tried to do that. Okay, they're like, well, instead of that, let's just move that random aspect, so you get to pick. From the wording it is now, I could be wrong. But it seems like you get to pick whether a creature is turned into a 5/5 Devilsaur or a 1/1 Squirrel, but you do not get to pick the creature. Aside from Tinkmaster, anything else on the field can be chosen at random. to become a huge thing, well, moderately big thing, or a little tiny dude. And I don't think that's necessary. Like, the only guaranteed situations now are when you just have are when you play Tinkmaster and there's only one other creature on the field. Okay, if you play Tinkmaster onto a field with one creature, you're guaranteed to transform that into whatever you like. So there's a guarantee there, at least. That's something. It's in that sense, it's actually buffed when you only have the one thing there, because then you can guarantee that you choose which one you like, which sort of thing you want it to turn it into. However, those situations are very, very limited. They're slim and few between and all that stuff. So I feel like overall, yes, this is a nerf, and it's hurting him a lot, and he's going to be taken out of a lot of decks. And doing that to a legendary card, which is a huge sink for, I don't know, putting money into it if you want. I mean, they're devaluing cards in your game makes people less likely to play them and such. It's just not really very good. And unfortunately, the history of Hearthstone has been, oh, this thing's overpowered, nerf, nerf, nerf. Okay, now this is overpowered, nerf, nerf, nerf. And so that's just what they've been doing. They haven't actually buffed any cards. They've been saying, let's nerf everything until people realize that they still have to play it or something. I don't know. But that's been the reaction. People complain about things, okay, we'll nerf it for you. But this is just strange. So those are my thoughts on that. Aside from that, there are also a few other changes. Mainly, the ones that are affecting most people, I suppose, are the, I'm not actually going to play a game, but just the ranking system. It still goes to 25 to 1 and then legendary. But now, instead of completely resetting the ladder, so you get everyone back at 25, and you can face who knows what. You could face the ranking 1 person. You could face Razor, or I think they were at the top for a little while, or Strife Crow. Pardon me. Now, instead of that, they actually give you a little head start when the ladders get reset, based on your ranking in the past month, I suppose, because it's every month, in the previous ladder. And I think it says like you get 1 star for each ranking that you got to. And so if you were at an innkeeper, then you start out at rank 16, I believe is how it works. So that's kind of good. It gives new people certainly a better chance to get in there. And it somewhat pairs you up against people that were on the same footing as before. So that's actually not bad. Whereas before, sometimes you would have to wait like a week or so for the 25, for the lower ranks to actually clear up, so that all the higher ranks, like really high ranked players, were already pushed to the top, and now you're against people on the same footing. So now you can get right into ranked a bit easier, which is nice. Let's see. Aside from that, there have been a few animations that have been changed. Definitely try out a shaman and click that totem, like summon totem button. What's it called? Totemic call. Click that. It's a really cool animation. I like it. They also fixed it so the minions don't dance around and hop when you're attacking, because before that would really mess things up, especially with shamans. With what is it, the flame spitter? No. The flame tongue totem. Oh geez, it could be the difference between life and death. And you're like, where is it? I don't know. Defender of Argus, there's a lot of issues where you want minions in a certain order, and they fixed it so they don't hop around. They've also claimed to have fixed the card stacking issue, where 2 cards would be on top of each other in your hand, or just it wouldn't be orderly. You wouldn't be able to select one. So they say to have fixed that. I haven't run into any issues like that recently, so that's good. The only issue I have run into is I was playing against an opponent, of course, and they played an Iron for Grizzly, whatever. But what happened is, instead of it, let's just pretend like this is the field, instead of it ending up like on the field, in the middle, where it should be, and I know there have been issues before where cards would like kind of float, but it would still be on the field, it wound up way back in their hand. You could see like the minion, but it was way back there, and instead of, I guess maybe it was good because it was a taunt thing, so I couldn't attack the enemy, but I actually had to go all the way back, and the animation showed my creature rushing over, bashing them like past their hand, almost off screen, and then coming back to kill the creature. So that's still an issue. They still have issues when minions might not go where they should. It's not the dancing around issue, it's different. It's completely like off the map. I don't know how they did that. Let's see, the only other thing that might possibly be of note is not there. It's in the options menu. Is, look at this, card backs. Eventually, at some point, they're going to give card backs as rewards to get. I'm not exactly sure. They had mentioned that it's going to be rewards for ranked play, but there might be different requirements for each one. They're probably going to have one each month, as far as the ladders go, or maybe every 2 months. Who knows? But basically, they're going to release new card backs, which is going to be kind of cool. And you're going to be able to see them, and your opponent will be able to see them and stuff. Well, I guess you won't. Well, you can see them on your deck, on the side, so there's that. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, that's pretty much it for this video. Little things about how I feel about it going public and the patch and everything. So, in short, not Pagle nerfed, but it's fine. I don't mind that at all. Tinkmaster is a whole new card now, essentially, and it's worse than it was before. And yay for bug fixes and little animation things there. So, thank you for tuning in to Bubble Hearthing, and this is me, Bubble Hearthing, signing out.